Hey everyone, and welcome back.
Yeah.
Diving into the world of podcasting, it can feel like you're jumping into the deep end, right? Especially when it comes to the tech stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But today, we're here to help you navigate those waters. We're taking a deep dive into AzuraCast.
Okay.
Now, AzuraCast, it's a platform that can handle pretty much everything when it comes to audio streaming. But we're focusing on how it can be a total game changer for podcasters.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Yeah,
When you hear self-hosted, it can sound a little intimidating, right?
definitely.
But trust me, it's worth exploring, especially when there are services out there that make the whole self-hosting thing super easy to manage.
Exactly.
So to break it all down for us, I've got our expert here.
Hey, everyone.
So AzuraCast, it seems like a big step for a lot of podcasters.
It can seem that way.
What makes it so user-friendly?
Right.
Even for those of us who aren't, coding wizards.
Well, one of the things that makes it so user-friendly is that the interface, it's very intuitive. You have this dashboard where you can drag and drop playlists. You can see your stats in real time. Wow.
And you don't need to know any coding to do it.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
But for podcasters specifically, what makes AzuraCast stand out?
Okay, well, one of the biggest advantages for podcasters is that AzuraCast, it handles everything in one place.
Yo, really?
So it's like your podcast hosting platform. It's your scheduling tool, and it's your analytics hub, all rolled into one.
So it's kind of like those all-in-one printers that can scan and fax, too.
Exactly. That's a great analogy.
Except this is for podcasting.
Yeah, and because it's self-hosted, you have more control over your content and your data.
Right. That's huge.
When you think about algorithms and platform restrictions that can sometimes, limit your reach.
Yeah, you're not at the mercy of somebody else's, algorithm.
Right, exactly.
But I'm guessing self-hosting probably comes with its own challenges.
Well,
I mean, do you need to be a tech expert to set it all up?
that's where services like AZ Streaming Server come in.
They provide a complete AzuraCast solution that takes the complexity out of self-hosting. They handle all the technical stuff like server, setup, software installation updates.
Oh, wow.
So you can focus on creating awesome content.
It's like having a tech team in your back pocket.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Uh,
So with AZ Streaming Server, you're basically getting all the power and flexibility of AzuraCast without needing like a degree in computer science.
exactly.
But how does all this compare to the big name podcasting platforms that we all know,
Right.
like Spreaker, Libsyn, or Anchor? What are the trade-offs?
Well, one of the key differences with AzuraCast is that you're not locked into a specific way of doing things because it's open source,
Okay.
which means you can customize it to your heart's content.
Really?
So if you want to tweak the look and feel of your website, go for it. Need a specific feature that's not available out of the box?
Yeah.
You can develop it yourself or find someone in the AzuraCast community who can help.
Wait, so there's like a whole community behind AzuraCast.
There is.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so the community is actually one of the best things about AzuraCast.
Really?
It's full of passionate podcasters and developers who are always willing to help each other out. There are forums, Discord servers, and tons of documentation to guide you.
Wow.
It's a very supportive environment.
So even if you do hit a snag, you're not alone.
No, you're not.
You've got people who can help you out.
Exactly. And open source also usually means it's more cost effective.
Okay.
So with AZ Streaming Server's AzuraCast hosting plans, you're often getting more features and more control for your money compared to some of the other platforms out there.
So cost-effective and customizable.
Yeah.
Two things any podcaster can appreciate.
Exactly.
Can we go back to that open source thing for a second, though?
Yeah.
I mean, for someone who's not super familiar with that world, what does it actually mean for me as a podcaster?
Well, think of it like this with open source software. The code is freely available.
Okay.
So anyone can look at it, modify it, and contribute to its development.
So it's not like a black box
It's not a black box.
where you have no idea what's happening. You
Right.
can actually see what's going on.
Exactly. And with AzuraCast, you have full visibility into how the platform works.
Yeah.
And because it's community-driven, it benefits from the collective knowledge and expertise of developers worldwide.
Wow.
It's constantly evolving and improving.
That's pretty cool. It's like having a whole team of developers working behind the scenes for you,
Exactly.
always making things better.
Right.
But how does that translate into benefits for me as a podcaster?
Well, one major benefit is that you truly own your content.
Okay.
You're not subject to the whims of algorithms or policy changes on some other platform. You can build direct relationships with your listeners and shape your podcast exactly how you envision it.
So it's all about independence and autonomy.
Yes, exactly.
And having that control.
And having the flexibility to monetize your podcast however you see fit.
Oh,
You're not limited by the restrictions of other platforms. You can set up sponsorships, memberships, or even sell products directly to your audience, all on your own terms.
whoa. That sounds pretty empowering.
It is. It
So
is.
you're in the driver's seat
You are.
of your podcast and your business.
Exactly. And because you own your audience data,
Yeah.
you can really understand their preferences and tailor your content accordingly.
Okay, so it's like market research built right in.
It is.
Awesome. This is starting to sound really appealing, but I'm sure some people listening are still a little hesitant to jump into self-hosting.
Yeah,
It can seem like a big technical hurdle.
I get it. But remember, with AZ Streaming Server, you don't have to be a technical expert to use AzuraCast. They make it really easy to get started and manage your podcast.
Okay.
It's like having a dedicated support team that takes care of all the technical stuff for you.
So they're like holding your hand through the process.
Exactly. And they provide different hosting plans to suit different needs and budgets, so you can choose a plan that fits your specific podcasting goals and scale up as your audience grows.
Awesome. Okay, so we've covered the basics of AzuraCast,
Yeah.
talked about the benefits of open source and how AZ Streaming Server can provide that extra support.
Right.
But I think it's time to dive a little deeper and see what AzuraCast actually looks like in action.
Let's do it.
What do you say?
I'm excited to show you.
I'm ready to see what all the fuss is about.
Yeah. Okay, so let's imagine you've taken the plunge, you've signed up with AZ Streaming Server, and you're looking at your AzuraCast dashboard for the first time. What do you do next?
Well, I'm probably coming from a place where my audio files are a little all over the place, scattered across my computer.
Sure.
So I'm guessing step one is getting all of that organized. How does AzuraCast handle that?
Right. Well, that's where the AzuraCast Media Library comes in.
Okay.
It's like this central hub for all your podcasting assets. So your audio files, episode artwork, intro music, anything you need to create your show is right there.
Okay, so it's not just a place to dump my files. It's about making them easy to actually use.
Exactly. You can upload your audio, organize it into folders, add tags for easy searching, and even edit important information like episode titles and descriptions.
Oh, that's handy. So no more digging through endless folders on my computer trying to remember where I saved that interview.
Exactly. And the best part is AzuraCast supports pretty much every audio format out there. So no compatibility issues. Just upload and you're good to go.
Love that. Okay, so my files are organized. What's next? How do I actually start putting an episode together?
Okay, so this is where playlists come in.
Playlists.
Yeah.
Like for music.
I know it sounds a little strange, but in AzuraCast, playlists are actually a really powerful tool for podcasters too.
Okay, I'm listening.
So you can use the AzuraCast playlist builder to create a sequence of audio files that will play in a specific order.
Okay.
So you could start with your intro music, then your episode intro, followed by the main content, maybe some ads or listener shoutouts, and then wrap it up with your outro music.
So it's like building a mini episode right there in the playlist. And I can like drag and drop different segments, rearrange things until it flows how I want.
You got it. You can get as creative as you want with it.
Yeah.
Add pre-recorded segments, listener call-ins, anything you can think of.
That's super cool. So I've got my episode all laid out on my playlist. What happens then? Do I have to manually upload it somewhere or like hit a go live button?
That's the beauty of AzuraCast. You can actually schedule your playlist to go live automatically at a specific date and time.
Automatically. So I can literally set it and forget it.
Pretty much.
Wow.
You can plan out your entire podcasting schedule in advance, and AzuraCast will handle all the publishing for you. No more late-night uploads or scrambling to meet deadlines.
Okay, that would free up so much time and mental energy. It's like having a personal assistant.
Exactly. And that actually brings us to another amazing feature.
Okay.
Automation.
Oh, yeah. Automation. Everyone's talking about it these days. But how does it actually work in AzuraCast?
Well, besides automatically publishing your episodes, you can also automate things like playlist rotation, listener requests, and even social media sharing.
Hold on, social media sharing. As in AzuraCast can tell my followers on Twitter when a new episode is live.
You got it. You can set it up so every time a new episode is published, AzuraCast automatically posts an announcement to your social media channels.
That is seriously impressive. Okay, so AzuraCast is saving me time, handling all the technical stuff, helping me promote my podcast. But with all this automation, all this scheduling, I gotta ask, how do I know if it's actually working? How do I see how my podcast is performing?
That's where the AzuraCast Analytics dashboard comes in.
Okay.
It gives you all the information you need to understand your audience and track your podcast's growth.
Analytics can be kind of overwhelming, though. All those numbers can be hard to make sense of. How does AzuraCast make analytics more user-friendly?
Well, the AzuraCast Analytics dashboard, it's designed to be really clear and easy to understand.
Okay.
It shows you things like your total number of listens, unique listeners, average listen duration, and even the geographic location of your audience.
Wait, I can actually see where in the world people are listening to my podcast.
Yes. You can see which countries, cities, even regions your listeners are coming from.
That's so cool. And that's not just like a cool vanity metric, right?
No, not at all.
That's useful information for like tailoring my content or even finding sponsors.
Exactly. It's all about understanding your audience, seeing where you can grow, and making smart decisions about your podcasting strategy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm seriously impressed with everything I'm hearing. So we've got the file management playlist, building, scheduling, automation, analytics. It seems like AzuraCast can do it all, but I do have one kind of nagging question in the back of my mind.
What's that?
We keep talking about how AzuraCast is open source and customizable, but for someone like me who's not super techie, how easy is it to actually make those customizations?
That's a great question. And to be honest, it's something a lot of people wonder about.
Yeah.
But the truth is, AzuraCast is surprisingly easy to customize, even if you don't have a lot of technical experience.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How does that work?
So AzuraCast has this built-in web interface that lets you manage every aspect of the platform, from basic settings to the look and feel of your website. And the best part is it's all done through this visual interface.
Yeah.
No coding required.
So I don't need to know any HTML or CSS or any of that stuff.
Nope. It's all point and click simple. You can easily change things like your station name, logo, color scheme, the layout of your website.
That takes away a lot of the pressure for sure.
Yeah.
But what if I am comfortable with code? Are there options for more advanced customization?
Absolutely. If you're a coding whiz, AzuraCast gives you complete freedom to dive into the source code and make any modifications you want.
So it works for both the tech-savvy and the less tech-savvy.
Exactly. It's all about giving you the tools and the freedom to create a podcasting platform that truly reflects your vision.
I love that. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground managing audio files, building playlists, scheduling episodes, automating tasks, analyzing your audience, and customizing your setup. It's clear that AzuraCast is a really comprehensive platform. But before we move on, there's one last thing I want to touch on. It's about that community aspect we mentioned earlier. We know AzuraCast is open source, which means it's super flexible. But I want to get a better sense of how that community actually benefits podcasters.
Right. Well, the AzuraCast community, it's one of its biggest strengths. It's full of people who are passionate about podcasting and always willing to help each other out.
Okay, so paint a picture for me. What does that support actually look like? What are some examples?
So you want to know what the support looks like?
Yeah. Like, what are some concrete examples?
Well, first off, you've got these online forums where you can ask questions, share tips, and connect with other AzuraCast users.
Okay.
It's like having this direct line to all these podcasting experts who've already been through it all.
So it's like having a built-in support system right there in the platform.
Exactly. And those forums are like a gold mine of information. You can search for answers to common questions or post your own and get help from the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it takes away a lot of that fear of the unknown when you're using a new platform. Are there any other ways to connect with the AzuraCast community?
Yeah, there's also a really active Discord server where you can chat with other users and even some of the AzuraCast developers in real time.
Oh, wow.
It's great if you need a quick answer or just want to chat with some like-minded people.
So you've got the forums for more in-depth discussions and then Discord for quick questions and real-time support. That's a pretty amazing support network.
And on top of that, there's the AzuraCast documentation website.
Right.
It's full of tutorials, how-to guides, and troubleshooting tips. It's constantly being updated and improved by the community, so you always have the latest info.
So even if I'm a complete newbie, I can find everything I need to get up and running?
Exactly. That's what's so great about the AzuraCast community. It's all about making podcasting accessible to everyone, regardless of their technical skill.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about all the amazing things about AzuraCast, all the features, the affordability, the amazing community. But I do want to be upfront with our listeners.
Yeah.
Are there any downsides or challenges that people should be aware of before diving in?
You're right. It's important to be realistic. And to be honest, AzuraCast might not be the best fit for every single podcaster out there.
Okay, I was kind of expecting a but there.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that might make AzuraCast a less than ideal choice for some people?
Well, because AzuraCast is self-hosted, it does require a bit more technical knowledge than some of those other platforms that are more plug and play.
Right.
You'll need to be comfortable with things like setting up a server, installing software, and managing updates.
So if someone's never even heard of a server before, it might be a bit of a learning curve.
That's true. But there are tons of resources out there to help you get started,
I'd say.
like the AzuraCast documentation, the community forums, and of course hosting providers like AZ Streaming Server who can handle all that technical stuff for you.
Exactly. They take away all that server headache,
Yeah.
so you can just focus on creating awesome content.
Right.
Any other potential challenges we should mention?
Another thing to keep in mind is that AzuraCast is constantly evolving, so new features are being added all the time, and there are regular updates.
So it's not a static thing. It's always improving. It's great.
Which is great, but it also means you need to be comfortable with staying on top of those changes and making sure your setup is compatible.
So a little bit of maintenance is involved.
Yeah, but I think most people would agree that the benefits of AzuraCast far outweigh any challenges.
For sure. And we know that amazing community is there to help every step of the way.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything there is to know about AzuraCast. We've explored the features, the benefits, the challenges, and that incredible community. But before we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay, what's that?
Imagine a world where podcasters have total control over their platforms, their content, and their audiences. A world where they can connect directly with listeners and create the podcasts of their dreams.
That sounds pretty amazing.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the world that AzuraCast is helping to create. It's a world where podcasters are empowered to take ownership of their work and build something truly special.
I couldn't agree more. It's all about taking control of your podcasting destiny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to all the podcasters out there, if you're looking for more control, more flexibility, more creative freedom, I highly recommend checking out AzuraCast and AZ Streaming Server.
Yeah.
They make the whole process super easy, and the rewards are incredible.
And remember that supportive community is there to help you every step of the way.
That's right. Don't be afraid to jump in and explore the world of open source podcasting. It might just change the way you podcast forever.
Happy podcasting, everyone.
And that concludes our deep dive into AzuraCast. We hope you enjoyed it and learned a thing or two. Until next time, keep creating, keep experimenting, and keep sharing your voice with the world.